welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast. We're here for the match reaction review, whatever you want to call it. Arsenal against Leeds, we beat 1-0. As you can see, I'm joined by Andrew. And as you can see in the background, we're still celebrating Invincible Day. Oh, dear. How you doing, Andrew? How's your weekend been?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Really, really good. Thank you. Yeah. I was away for the weekend at my niece's wedding, which was fantastic. Arsenal won away, and Man City lost. What more can you ask for? Apart from Tottenham losing, but never mind. Another week.
Just as he mentioned about Arsenal, the Arsenal win, it was an old school Arsenal win. The Jules Graham old school Arsenal win.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like it, really, on Twitter, but
unbelievable. Honestly, we won't go into specific tweets, but I mean, Jesus Christ, we can't be happy about that kind of Arsenal win, any kind of Arsenal win. Then what's wrong with you? I mean, it's never going to be easy. Let's face it. Let's get into it. I mean, literally had a few hours training after Thursday. We went away to the north of the Arctic Circle, got back late on Friday, had a few hours training, travelled up to Leeds on Saturday, and had a few hours training in between. I mean, most of the players played some part of the game, and we had a really, really tough game a few days before that against Liverpool, but we won all three games away. And Leeds hadn't been beaten at home this season. I don't know what more people want, to be honest.
Well, just to add on to that, I mean, we've grown up over the years and seen title winning teams. The 89 season, 91 or 89, I was 86 days old, but we won the actual league. But 91 to 98, 2002, 2004, in them seasons, we had these sort of games. But we didn't turn up on the day. But we got the result. We got over the line. We fought and dug deep. And even that, we've seen Sir Alex Ferguson, his Man United teams are famed for it, especially in the first half of the season. They'd go away to the loss of the Blackburns, get absolutely trounced on performance-wise, but they got over the line. They had the know-how to get over the line.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not like it's an Arsenal-only thing. And as I said at the start, it was a Jules Graham-esque, old-school 1-0 to the Arsenal, and we showed something we haven't shown. And especially more so in the second half, because once they brought Bamford on at the element and they got that goal that was disallowed, but it sort of gave them a boost and a bit of confidence in themselves, and we sort of tried to soak up the pressure and try and do them on the counter every now and then. And you could see certain players were shattered because of the fact they had to play on the Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
You could tell. I mean, it was right in the second half when ball played across. And Granit Xhaka is lunging for the ball, but his body's he wants to go for it. You can tell he's trying, but his body's like, no, he's on shutdown mode. It's like he's using every bit of energy to get to the ball, but obviously, yeah. And people need to realise, and players are, yes, they're athletes, but they are human, and we're not going to have perfect performances week in, week out. We are going to have these performances, like it or not. Winning the title or not, we're going to have these performances. And that was character building. The way we dug in that second half and got out of there, even with all the penalty, the non-penalty at the end, and the red card, non-red card, and all that, we still got out. And that be more character building for this squad of players. A young team, by the way, majority, second youngest in the league, compared to a normal everyday easy win.
I think you celebrate those wins even harder, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Than the easy 3 or 4-0 wins. Because it means even more in some cases. So I just think it was a really, really important away win. Like I say, against a good team, played well on the day. They had 7 days rest.
Yeah, exactly. Alex is in the chat. Big up, Alex. How you doing, my friend? Give me your thoughts in the chat as well about your thought on the game, basically, and the controversy that in hell from the start, basically. But
I know.
you mentioned obviously the the European aspect of basically going all the way to the other side of the Norway, basically, and having to come back a few days training. For me as well, to add into that, the disruption at the start of the game affected the game, in my opinion. Because imagine you're coming out at normal, doing warm ups, go in, come out, shake your hands and all that. You start 90 seconds into the kick after first the whistle's gone for the start of the match, and the referee's gone in the game to a complete halt because all the technology can't communicate with no one. And then you're waiting around. The players are there 6-7 minutes waiting around, passing the ball about, but nothing major. Waiting, and they're getting told, "In you go, come on, in you go." And then they have to come out again. Or was it 11 to 17 minutes later to then warm up and then warm up for another 15 minutes, and then go again. That must, for both teams, obviously, not just Arsenal here, but especially as we had decided midweek game, that would have thrown our initial plans out the window, I think. And even though I was there trying to refocus the players, like, look, calm, this is completely unnormal, but we need to focus on what we've got to do. In the first half, I mean, again, in the first half, it was pretty similar. As Gary mentioned this yesterday. Pretty similar to the Thursday. The first half, we came out, dominated the possession, created chances, took a chance in the end. And then the second half came along, and we all know what happened in both games, but we got out of there. But my point is, we did create chances. The game should have been out of sight if we'd scored more of our chances. But what was your thoughts on the first half in general? Just once it eventually got underway, 45 minutes later.
I watched it back again today because I was listening to the first half, and before managed to watch the second half, caught a stream. But I watched it back again today, and I thought the first half, we were quite even, really. I thought we played pretty well first half. Both teams had chances, but I thought we were fairly steady, to be honest with you, despite all that messing around at the beginning. And it's quite funny because I watched it on the Arsenal website today, and Nigel Winterburn was co-commentators, and obviously the old school Nigel was saying, "I can't believe that they're not carrying on. There's a referee into two linesmen, so they know how to referee games. Just why don't they just carry on? It's so stupid." Blah 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 blah. And thank God he didn't do that afterwards.
Yeah,
the way it worked out.
God, it didn't go that way.
Without VAR, it would have been a nightmare. But I thought the first half was quite even. I mean, the goal was unbelievable finish. I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, for everyone that was saying Saka's off form, Saka's not doing it, well, he's won us the last 3 games on the trot.
Yeah,
basically.
Literally, you can't argue that.
Won us the game against Liverpool, won us the game away in Norway, and won us the game away at Leeds. So, considering he's out of form, he's not doing bad, is he, the lad?
No, the thing with Saka, we've mentioned it before with Saka. Sorry, he's 21 years. He's just turned 21. Since he was 17, 18 years old when he broke into the team, he's carried this team. The second the team's caught up with him in terms of ability and output and everything, start of the season, he goes under the radar because he can do that now, because you've got Jesus, Zinchenko, Partey, Xhaka, Martinelli now up to his levels as well. You've got players around him now that are of his level, or it would be a bit more basic. So he can take a few games to ease himself into the season now. He doesn't have to hit the ground running straight away. And now we're seeing the fruits of that because, as you say, for the last 3 games in all comps, he stepped up for us when we needed it.
Exactly.
But he's out of form. He's not good enough, apparently. or in Southgate's case, fantastic, you're scoring goals. Left back.
I know. But I mean, what a finish. I mean, unbelievable. It's with his weaker foot and all.
Yeah.
actually with his weaker foot. So there's some good performances in the
The
first
kick was
half.
near post as well.
Nothing majorly special, but it was some good performances. Everyone was playing half decent stuff. And let's remember, after even go back to obviously the Wenger days, we really struggled very often on the days after, the immediate match after a European away day, especially. We regularly got turned over, after whether it's Champions League, whether it was Europa League, whatever, in his last. Actually, he didn't manage us in the Europa League, did he? Maybe one season. We're losing track now.
2 seasons in Europa with Wenger.
Yeah. So, straight after a European game, the next match we struggled.
No, one Europa League season, sorry, and the UEFA Cup in 2000.
Yeah, I thought it might have been. So it was always going to be quite difficult, especially after that, playing on a plastic pitch as well, and then you have to go back to your regular pitch. And like I said, with just a few hours training in between, that was it, really. I think it's probably just had a bit of a kickabout on the Saturday morning, maybe before they headed off to stay overnight in Leeds. The first half was pretty good. I think it's a shame we couldn't have gone in a couple of goals to the good, but I was still happy that we went in ahead, to be honest with you. But then obviously the second half started, and I don't know what you think, but that goal that they scored 45 seconds, whatever it was, into the second half, I thought it was a really soft foul. Everyone was saying, no, it's a foul, definite foul. I thought we were so lucky to get away with that. I don't know about you, but you've got to use that rule. Once again, you've got to use the rule as what would have happened. How would we have felt if it was at the other end?
Yeah.
And if we'd got denied that goal, I would have been fuming. Absolutely fuming.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was a foul, it was a very, very soft one. I mean, let's face it. But obviously, I'm not complaining in the slightest, but we had a bit of luck there. We definitely had a bit of luck there. What do you think?
Rubber of green again. It's about. We said it last week. It's about time we started getting that rubber of green. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. How many seasons we've had VAR? Not talking about VAR now because we used it yesterday. We're still on obviously. How many times has the system screwed us since it's been implemented? When I say the system itself, I mean the officials running it and all that. They've always found a way. I mean, its debut season was 2-2 against Palace at home. Socrates scores meant to be a winning goal.
Yeah.
Gets brought back for a foul from Chambers. When if you look back at it, it was Chambers getting fouled by 2 players.
Yeah, I know.
Things like that. There's other things like Socrates against Sheffield United. His shirt's being pulled the exact same way Mo Salah was getting pulled a few weeks ago against Arsenal. Prior to that, so it's about time that things actually worked out for us in that way. Yes, 100%. It was soft. It was extremely soft. I was surprised it got turned over, and I watched it because I was behind Gary.
I mean, when I was watching it in real time, I thought, "Oh, that's a goal. Good goal." Then they showed. Then all the kerfuffle started happening. I'm thinking, "Oh, what's happening here? Is it offside? Is it what's happened?" And then they said it's a foul. I just looked it back. I thought, "Wow, got away with one there," and I put it on Twitter. Got away with one there. And then I watched it back again today. I haven't changed my mind. I think we were really, really lucky with that one.
So I literally said yesterday as well to Gary, that's a warning sign. Now they need to wake up. Because as you say, 45 seconds or so into the actual second half, and our defending was non-existent in that moment. And that should have been a warning sign. But as I said earlier, it sort of perked, it got the Leeds fans going. There was a players fed off that.
Exactly, yeah.
They believed it. They believed they could get us all of a sudden, and it was just like, okay, hands to the football now. We need to hold on to this and try and get them on the counter when we can.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, watched it back. I think that it was messy the second half, and that really, really G'd them up rather than giving us to kick up the arse. It G'd them up even more, and that set the tone for the second half. That disallowed goal.
Yeah,
and like I said, it looked really messy at times, and we weren't cohesive. We couldn't string passes together. We kept giving the ball away, but we still defended, I thought, really resiliently. And once again, I think Gabriel's come in for some real criticism. I think he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, did you notice that Arsenal put out a tweet after the game with Gabriel saying how magnificent he was with all his stats basically from the game? They could see it coming because of what happened right at the end of the game. But he was throwing himself in front of things. I mean, Aaron Ramsdale, brilliant. I think it's probably his best game of the season so far.
Yeah.
But I think Gabriel was a man mountain. But the defence as a whole weren't like completely controlling the game that they have been this season, but they were defending with everything they had. And I think they did really, really well. Which is another reason why I love these kinds of wins and kind of performances, because that old phrase, the backs to the wall type of game, coming out of there with that win was so impressive. But first half pretty decent. Second half we can keep talking about it, but it was messy. It was nerve-wracking, and we had a couple of more than one slice of luck, really, as it goes along.
Yeah, and as we're talking about, like Colin in the chat, big up Colin, looks like he's new sub to the channel, says we've been feasting on our luck. However, a very wise man once said he'd rather be lucky than good.
Was that you, Colin? You the very wise man? Because it seems like it to me, mate. It seems like it to me.
Stefan says luck runs out after a while and deficiency gets exposed. I mean,
yeah, I don't think there's any kind of deficiencies. I just think we are really tired. We're running on energy at the moment, like low energy. I don't know how many games we've had this month so far. I've lost track.
Tottenham, we've had Liverpool, we've had.
What was the first game of the month? Was Tottenham definitely the first game? Right.
Tottenham was the first game. Yeah, Bodo Glimt at home, Liverpool, Bodo away, and now Leeds. Yeah. That's 5. We've still got to play PSV midweek, Southampton, PSV away, and Nottingham Forest before the end of the month.
Yeah,
that's 9 games in the month.
So considering that we've won every single game so far, I don't think we're doing too bad, really. And 3 games in 7 days is I don't care what anyone says. It's a tough ask, especially when you consider it was Liverpool, which was obviously a really taxing, demanding game, and then that trip away, I knew it was going to be a real nightmare. So I just think I think we've done well, and we've been playing brilliantly this season, and I think we are starting to show signs of fatigue, but I think that's natural. The week that we've had, so I mean, hopefully it'll be a bit easier this week because we've got obviously PSV at home.
Yeah,
so no travelling.
That's one plus, I suppose. And Southampton ain't that far either on Sunday. I just want to go back to the game. After the goal gets disallowed, we think, okay, we count our blessings and all that, kick up the arse, as we were saying before, with hope. Still keeps going, and it doesn't. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. And about 10, 15 minutes later, a penalty's given for me, out of nowhere, because in the real life, like the real moment of the game, it's like you see the ball coming, you don't actually see the hand at the ball, and until you see the replay, yes, it might have been. Yeah, it did hit his hand, but was it deliberate? Also, when they went to VAR to check this, I don't know if you noticed this, but they were offside in the build-up, in the immediate build-up to the cross going in.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing. It was a definite penalty, 100%. He knew it as well. You watch his initial reaction straight immediately after it. You could tell he knew he'd done it. But he moved his hand to the ball, so that's enough. not even a question to me that that's a penalty. But should it have even been allowed? Because it was 100% offside. Now, whether it's the first stage or second stage of play, blah, blah, all this rubbish that they come out with nowadays, we had the goal disallowed against Man United for something that happened way before the actual goal itself.
Yeah.
With that supposed foul that Martin Odegaard did.
Yeah, foul.
And I just don't understand why that was allowed to continue. Because they were blatantly offside.
It wasn't like
it's really odd.
It wasn't like it was offside in a different phase of play. In the immediate phase of play that led to the cross coming in.
I know.
A player, I don't know who it was in the end. I can't remember who it was, but he's blatantly offside. And would have gone to VAR. They're looking at the handball, but then why they're not checking it? You see it every now. What was it yesterday against Liverpool v City in the Man City's disallowed goal? They checked two things. If Haaland had fouled the goalkeeper, and then literally like 30 seconds prior, did he foul Fabinho? So they can do it. They have done it. Not just yesterday in that Liverpool game. They've done it before. So why did they not go back? And I think Liam mentioned it on Twitter, and I also said that it seems that they're out to fuck us over, trying to fuck us over one way or the other. That the people talk about luck and all that, but it just seems at that moment you're looking at it, you're thinking the only logical reason that they didn't Paul Tierney, by the way, who's in charge of VAR yesterday. So when I heard the name, I was like, oh, no surprise there with his reputation of Arsenal in recent months. But it seemed it doesn't just seem at the time, but it seems now if they can get an opportunity to weasel out of something and try and throw us under the bus and cause us aggro, they're gonna do it to us, and we need to sort of not give them that excuse basically that we did yesterday. But then Bamford steps up, skews the penalty wide, but Ramsdale goes the right way. So I think even if it's on target, Ramsdale's saving it.
I do actually think Ramsdale would have saved it from Lena. I watched the replay 2 or 3 times again afterwards, and he definitely covered that post. I do think he would have tipped it wide, funnily enough. Very, very close, if not. But Nigel Winterburn was convinced they were going to get him to retake it because of encroachment. He was not celebrating the miss until the goal kick had been taken, because he was that convinced that it was going to be retaken for encroachment. So that was good that it wasn't, at least.
Yeah,
the penalty, I was quite absolutely right. The penalty shouldn't have been given, but the handball was a definite handball. Again,
there's no dispute with that. Yeah,
there's no way that you could say, oh, we didn't mean it, or his hand was just there, or something like that. He moved his hand to the ball, and he knew that he'd done wrong as well. So, but I don't think the penalty should have been given. So in the end, justice was served, basically. And we weren't lucky in that respect there.
Yeah, no.
Because he missed the penalty. It wasn't luck. It was more like, justice was served in the end, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And what I like most about it was, as you say, Ramsdale gets up once he knows the goal kick's been given, and he goes directly to Patrick Bamford and gets in his face, starts screaming in his face. And I was just like, yes, that's my goalkeeper.
You think Patrick Bamford is really? You think Patrick Bamford is well overdue a haircut as well? I mean, what's going on there?
He's been into that long. He's probably hasn't had a haircut since he last scored in the league.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's not having a haircut until he next scores a goal or something. That must be what it is.
Tom Huddleston did that a whole years ago, didn't he? He went for a phase. He was at home. He was like, I'm going to grow my hair. Until I score a goal, whenever that may be, I will not cut my hair. It really got.
It's about 8 foot long now.
Yeah, out of control. So I loved that. And again, I said this to go. I said, okay, that's our second warning now. Can we please wake up? And people in the chat are going, wake up, Arsenal, wake up.
Honestly, I just think the tank was virtually dry. We just looked really knackered.
Yeah.
That's my opinion again today. When I was watching it back, I think it's just we really looked like we were just a yard slower than we have been all season. And I genuinely think that trip that we took on Thursday, it really took it out of us. I really genuinely do. Even though we had a much changed team, most players played at some point during the game with the subs and everything. And the journey itself is not going to have done us any favours. So the fact that we managed to hold on for the win, I think, is a massive testament to the squad, to be honest. But yeah, we couldn't get control of the game, no matter how hard we tried. I mean, like I said, they had a week to prepare for this.
Yeah.
They were playing really well. I think it's the best I've seen them play this season, I have to be honest. They were first to everything. They were winning all the second balls. They were forcing us into mistakes. We were trying, but nothing was coming off. It's just one of those games where we just had to dig in. We genuinely just had to dig in, and we found it really tough.
So I was just reading Stefan's comment. He says, "As a metalhead with wrong hair, I take no offence to that, Andrew."
No, he takes offence to that. Well, I said it's only 8 foot long. I mean, that's great. I didn't say it's a bad thing. Oh, you're on about Bamford. Yeah, you're on about Bamford.
Well, I'm on Bamford, but I
don't think Bamford's a metalhead, though, mate. He's like from a rich, very, very rich family. I can't imagine that he'd be into that. I'm sure he was brought up. I think he was brought up on chamber music in his household.
Oh, there's a question from Connie. There's the elephant in the room question. When do we stop dismissing Gabriel Mags having a real bone-headed moment? The thing is, we'll get into this now. Up till that moment at the end there,
it's magnificent.
Literally 2 minutes prior, I said in the stream, Gabriel's been fantastic. In the back line, he's been fantastic. Solid as a rock, consistent. He's been reliable. And then we saw what happened. And again,
but he never connected with him, though.
No, this is the thing for me. He was the one that's fouled. He's gone down, naturally gone down. No way is he fall. He's not thrown himself. He's gone down naturally. His legs haven't extended or nothing.
No.
And Bamford acts like he's been sniped from the fucking crowd in row Z.
Exactly. It was dead my head.
I mean, do
you know what as well? He did swing his leg out, but he forcibly stopped himself. You could see he tried to sort of not make contact because he realised in a split millisecond what he was doing. Yeah. But it was stupid to sort of swing his leg out to start off with. But you could see that he realised, like I said, really quickly that I shouldn't be doing this, and he stopped. He never made proper contact with Bamford whatsoever.
You know what it reminded me of? Vieira Van Nistelrooy in 2003.
Yeah.
When Vieira goes, if he's fouled, he's down on the floor, and Vieira is different though. Vieira actually does swing on the leg in midair. No winter. There's like that much of a gap between his studs and Van Nistelrooy. Yeah. Van Nistelrooy goes like he's been studded in his fucking stomach.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
No, as I say, Bamford play acting hacked me off, and then what made it even worse for me? The referee goes over, speaks to he's a linesman at the time, and the one that was nearest, and instead of going, okay, you said what you've got to say, go to VAR. All right, Paul Cheney, Paul, this is what we've discussed. This is what so and so's saying. Can you confirm that your end? Before he doesn't even do that. He goes, okay, red.
Yeah.
And he has to be sent again. Why is it they have to be sent over? Why can they use common logic? And as I say, go to the person of the VAR and go, right, is this what has happened? Just to confirm, let's make sure he's seen what he's seen is right. And then wait. And if the official his story is wrong, then send the referee gets up like he's made a mistake. Go over to the screen. I'll show you what's actually happened.
Yeah.
Why can't they do that? Because the drama that caused for 3-4 minutes.
Exactly. And the annoying thing is, though, he's still stuck with his yellow card for Gabriel, and nothing for him.
This is
he made the initial cynical pushing him, foul in the first place. Properly ran into him with his shoulder and pushed him at the same time, knocked him flying over, and then he faked being injured, and he never got anything.
This is I don't get. You got the red initially before they went to VAR, red card penalty, right? But he gets sent over. He then comes over, says no red card. It's a booking, no penalty. Why is he being booked then?
He must. The only thing I can presume is foul language or something like that.
Possibly,
because if it was still a booking, then it should have been a penalty, surely.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, so in that the logic, it must be ill discipline, basically, just for the discipline. But then the discipline doesn't get out of control the way it allegedly would have done if they've ever done his job in the first place. Then, and not just took the word of one person and gone, okay, we've got the system, like they're doing rugby. I mean, like I keep saying this. I watched rugby and watched it for years. They've had their version of VAR for years now. It's always the case, no matter what. If even if they've seen something, he'll go. If he's 100% sure he has seen something that is illegal, he will stop the game and he'll go, all right, so-and-so upstairs, right, so-and-so, right, this is what I've seen. Red number 8, taken on, spear tackled so-and-so. It looks like it has. Can you confirm that's the case? And then show me on the big screen. So, and also everyone in the crowd in the stadium sees it as well. And they can hear the communication back and forth. Then afterwards, ref, he's shown it. He goes, okay, maybe made a mistake, or no, I'm right. So it's a red card then. Done. Why couldn't it? Again, we've got 4 or 5 years of this VAR system, and it's still no improvement in that side of things. Exactly.
But let's go back to the initial question as well. About Gabriel's mistake, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not, and once again, I'm not saying that I want anything bad to be said. I will never say anything bad about William Saliba. But again, he made a couple of mistakes himself. Again, he gave away the penalty. He miscontrolled that ball, which led to Aaron Ramsdale having his nuts completely smashed in with a football. Oh my God!
I forgot about that for a second.
Honestly, that was really brave, because the way he carried on for a few seconds after that and dived on the ball again, he must have been in agony, bless him, because that was full on smacked right into his testes. But but he gave that ball away. He gave away the penalty. But no one will say a bad word against Saliba. So Gabriel had a fantastic game for my liking. He's probably our best defender on the day. Tommy Asu I thought was a bit shaky. It wasn't his best game by any stretch of the imagination. His passing was not up to scratch. But again, no one's was really.
He got played on a Thursday, so he's travelled out, played several days. He's jet lagged.
Exactly. So no one had a great game, but I don't see why everyone seems to want to go on to Gabriel every single day at the moment.
Well, especially
he was brilliant.
Well, especially in the end when it comes out, he was innocent.
Exactly.
In the incident, the one incident he was involved in, that you could say was a negative, could have been a negative. It turns out he was being wronged by Patrick Bamford for crying out loud, and then initially the officials. He was actually the innocent party in that sense. Yeah. And as I said, prior to that, literally seconds prior, I'm praising Gabriel for his performance yesterday. So, but it just seems, like you say, one little mistake now. He could have a fantastic game. One little mistake, everyone's on him.
Exactly, yeah.
Why do we have? We mentioned this for the last few weeks, and it's getting a bit repetitive now. But why do we have to have a scapegoat? No matter what, there's got to be a scapegoat in the squad. That if he has an off game or whatever, you got to think he has to be singled out. And when he does well, it doesn't get the praise he merits.
Yeah, I don't see why that Bamford didn't get a yellow as well, though. I really don't.
That was bizarre. I initially thought he had been good to wait because the ref got the card out, and as I saw Bamford go like that, so I thought he got the yellow, but then I found out he wasn't. I was like, why is he? Whatever. But it's just. But as I say, the only logical reason for Gabriel to be booked will feel disciplined because everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think
if it had been a booking for the incident, then you've still got to get the penalty then.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it was in the box, so it's a strange one. But I think overall, to summarise a lot of what's happened, all the correct decisions were made. Thank God. After they got that VAR connection back. God forbid that they hadn't.
We'd be screwed. We'd have been screwed yesterday. Clearly.
But those decisions, could have gone either way on a lot of cases. And the only surprising thing is that we finally are getting the correct decisions go for us. Because, like you said earlier in the show, it's been a long time coming. That's the case. We've been on the end of so many bad decisions in the past. So it's nice that finally, it's not even like my show like last week was called Lucky Not Lucky. It's the same thing again because it could be seen as so we've been lucky, but we weren't really because all the correct decisions were made. Like I said, there's a few that that comment you had up on the screen before. If it was the other way round with the Bamford and Gabriel situation, if it was Jesus and one of the opposition defenders, you'd be screaming because you do, because you want everything to go for your team. But in the end of the day, it was the right decision that was made. It would have been a soft penalty to have been given, but of course we would have been screaming for it. But I do think that it was the right call, and it could have gone either way. So in that way, it's just surprising more than lucky. So you can't say it was lucky because it was the right thing to do, but it's surprising that we have continued to get the right decisions made for us for 2 weekends running now. So yeah, that's the surprising thing for me.
Let's look at this other comment up from Colin. So he says, "Not on him. I'm just hoping the moments are getting coached up because Gabby has these brief moments this season where he is very costly. And luckily, we have been able to overcome it. I mean, Fulham game, Fulham he made a mistake from Mitrovic, but him and the team got behind him, fans got behind him, rectified it, scored a winning goal." And it was one brief moment there. Most recently, Tottenham at home. The penalty wasn't solely on him. What was he to do? If he doesn't go and do if he doesn't make the challenge for the ball, Richarlison's basically got an open shot at goal, basically. From how many yards out. It
was also on Xhaka for that one as well because of that. Gave the ball away, that loose touch.
Yeah, it's a poor touch, and he's trying to rectify it, but he misjudged by a split second. He's challenged. Nothing he can do there. And then yesterday he got wrong. He was being set up basically by the Leeds attacker and the officials initially until VAR got involved and said, "You've made a mistake. You need to look at this. This is what's happened actually," and then they rectified it, sort of.
Another thing, his passing is really underrated as well. His passing is absolutely been bang on the last few games. These long passes out. It wasn't as good yesterday as it was against Liverpool, for example. That was really overlooked against Liverpool. But I think he's been really good all round. But regarding that last comment as well, that's on the screen, we know that they do this sort of thing now. After watching All or Nothing, we know that they do the one-to-one coaching and look at the players' game and where they can improve, the mistakes they've been making, etc., and talking to them about it. So we know that will be going on behind the scenes. He's definitely a young enough player. We've said it several times, but he's still a very young defender at 24, nowhere near his peak as a central defender. So we know that can be coached out of him. We know that the fact is also, I heard this stat that he's played started the last 42 Premier League games for Arsenal. And you do not do that for Arteta unless you are doing what he wants you to do. So he is obviously doing well by Mikel, by the manager, and he'll be doing everything he can to improve him as well as a player. So I'm sure that they'll be working on all his shortcomings and the areas of improvement with him on a one-to-one basis as well as on the training pitch.
I mean, Colin makes a good point here. He says, I do believe that his mistakes are more noticeable because we are fascinated with Saliba's class.
Yeah, and with Saliba, and I don't want to sound derogatory about Saliba. Saliba's been immense. I can't stop going on about how good he is, can I? I mean, every podcast we do, we talk about him, but he's been making mistakes as well. But then no one has been pointing out any of his mistakes whatsoever. Like I said, just yesterday alone, two big mistakes. One for the penalty, and one where he lost the ball and let Bamford run in on goal for a shot. So, he's obviously can't do any wrong at the moment. And fine, just great. So I don't want to criticise him, but let's get behind Gabriel as well, for crying out loud, because he's equally as a really commanding young centre back, and we're lucky to have him. So let's just get behind him as well.
No, yeah. 100%. We'll do our bit here, but I think you made a good comparison last week on the podcast on this channel about Saliba and Gabriel, about them being the modern day, our modern day Tony Adams and Martin Keown. Martin Keown's more of a Gabriel in terms of lets his emotions out more on the pitch,
very emotional player.
Saliba's more of a Tony, calm, collective, and will lead by example sort of defender. Cannon's got a question though. Big bit up before. He says, "What's your view on Hull cheating all season when one of their goals has been bigger all year?" I don't know if you know, because obviously he was at a wedding this weekend. But basically, Hull played Birmingham City, and the goal they're messing. They've measured the goals or whatever. They've realised one goal's bigger than the other. So they've literally got I've seen the pictures as well. They've got the goal that was bigger out of the ground, got a saw out, and they're on the pitch sawing the goal down to be the right side. I think that's been an all-season thing.
Oh my god!
But no one's noticed until now.
I know, how weird. It's the first I've heard of it, mate.
If Arsenal, mate, all I've got to say, if Arsenal done it, it'd be all going off.
Why have they only made one of them bigger? I mean, they've got to play in both ends, so why is only one bigger? I don't see what they get out of that.
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. But all I'm saying, if it was at the end, it was Arsenal's goals involved, and they're too big, it would be all kicking off or too small. One being too small and one being too big. We'll be absolutely stalked by the press and Gary Neville. Believe me.
I don't quite get what they would get out of having one of their goals bigger. It's a really strange thing.
I don't know. I can't answer it. I don't know that either.
That's absolutely right. But what I'm saying, Colin, is let's do that for every player.
Yeah.
And I know that he did get backed when he got. Ryan said the mistake he made against Fulham. But let's keep doing that. Let's keep doing that with all of our players.
Yeah.
Not just one or two that are our favourites. Let's do it for all of them throughout this season. In this season, well, not more than ever, because we should do it every season. But with the situation we're in, we're going to need to be like that with our players all season long. It's going to be a long, hard season, and the way that it's going, it's going to be really, really exciting as it progresses as well. So they're going to need all the backing they can get. Yeah. And with regards to Steve F's next comment saying Tony Adams, calm and collected, but
on the pitch, on the pitch.
Yeah, you need to watch that podcast show back. Yeah. We explained it in a bit more detail, but compared to Martin Keown, Tony Adams was a lot more calm and collected
on the pitch.
Yes,
not talking about other stuff, but big up to Tony Adams. Actually, by the way, doing obviously Strictly Come Dance got through again last night.
Apparently, he's still in. Yeah,
got through. And he did it. Was it this Saturday just gone on that show, he dedicated that dance to everyone, all his friends and family that got behind him and supported him over the years and gave him a reason to, in his words, a reason to live and keep going. And then from that, the support he's got online, from fans, from Arsenal fans and non-Arsenal fans, etc., has been apparently overwhelming. And he's put another tweet out today saying thank you for the support again. It means a lot, and in this time of mental health and all that.
Apparently, I've only seen one clip of one of his performances, the full Monty one.
Yeah,
but from what friends have said, he is actually improving week on week on week, and people were completely snagging him off for still being in there because can't dance, blah blah blah. And someone, I just saw one reply, and I haven't got the name, so I apologise, but someone replied and said, well, hang on a second, this is a dance show where you're encouraged to vote for people who are improving and working really hard week on week on week, and that's exactly what he's been doing. So where's the problem, you know?
Well,
so,
this is the thing.
People are getting behind him.
You know what? Again, take my bias out of the equation. I'm an Arsenal fan, obviously. Tony Adams and all, the first Arsenal captain. Take that out of the equation, and obviously inspired by the channel. I'd rather someone like him be in this sort of show, and from not be one of those from day one, can dance, can do this, can do that, 10, all that sort of, someone that works their way in. And while they're working their way to improvement, as you saw the full Monty in week 2,
that's brilliant. That was.
The entertainment factor. He brings that entertainment. Was it?
You cannot underestimate his guts.
He's mocking himself in terms of the Granada training session at one point.
Yeah.
But he's bringing entertainment. But he's improving.
How much does it show what guts, his determination he's got to actually do this? To actually put yourself out there in front of millions and millions of people every single week to do something you're not very good at to start off with. It takes a hell of a lot of courage, doesn't it? And with everything that he's been through in the past, self-hate and for everything, all of those, it takes a big man to do what he's doing. And I'll tell you what, if it was all down to the public vote, we know that he would win. We know that Arsenal
fans would win all day. He's going to win.
Exactly. 100%. Unfortunately, it's not always just down to the public vote, is it? I think it's 50. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like 50-50 between the public and the judges.
Yeah, I think between now and the.
So he will go out at some point because the judges won't want him to win, will they? I mean, let's face it. I mean, but if it was purely down to the public vote, it's purely down to public vote. Arsenal fans would get any of their players to win anything.
One sec. I've got a few comments here. One sec. Colin's saying about we talked about Saliba before. Saliba came back under very different circumstances. I believe that was the reason for the backing. Many wondered if Saliba would ever play for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Questions from Colin though. We will very likely be in a great position on the table come January window. We have to hit 2 good midfielders there. Thoughts? I'm assuming yes, it means we have to get 2 midfielders.
I would slightly disagree. I think we need 2 signings as a minimum. But I would say probably 1 midfielder and 1 more attacker. Personally, that's what I would like to see come in. If we're being greedy, I wouldn't say no to 2 midfielders and 1 attacker. Definitely, but more realistically, I would, if it had to be, I'll be quite happy with just 1 and 1. But yeah, being greedy, 1 and 2 would be great, right? And in an ideal world, it'll be, if we could get the 3, it'll be number 6 and number 8, and a wide player. But if there's ever a time to bring forward next summer's signings to the window, the January window, it's this season. Obviously,
Yeah.
World Cup going on. We know how we made a mistake last January by not bringing in people, and we paid the price for it later on in the season. We do not want that to happen this season with the way things are going. So now is the time to do it. 100%, yeah.
Yeah. Stephen's made a comment in the chat. Sorry, what's that? He says Tony went through the mill. Obviously, you talk about his playing career and all that. I left a message for him on his Insta site, and not only did he respond, we had an online conversation. Top man. He is. He does. He's one of as my mum would say, he's part of the old school generation. Like they appreciate the fans and not just the fans of the club they've played for, but football fans in general. And if someone reaches out to them, they will make the effort back. They're not one of the like the modern day footballer or ex-footballer where they're so far at backside you never hear from them if you reached out to them and made all that.
No, he's from back in the day when they used to walk into the ground. I used to see players walking into Highbury back in the day, and they used to happily stop and talk to you, and it's a different world back then. And he's from that generation, so it was lovely. Really, really. I mean, absolutely top bloke. And like I said, it's unless you've been through the mill yourself with regards to your mental health really badly.
And add on to the other equations of these drink and drugs and all that stuff as well. That affected the mental health even worse.
I mean, like I said earlier, the self-hate that you have and the worthlessness, and you feel like got no one in the world that understands what you're going through, and to come through the other side and to actually be taking part in a program like this, it just shows you what a man he is. He's putting himself out there to be ridiculed every day by everyone that is not an Arsenal fan. Anyone that is not an England football fan or an Arsenal fan, he is putting himself out there to be really ridiculed week in, week out, and it takes a lot of guts and courage to do that. So fair play to him. Absolutely fair play to him. It's not a program I watch or anything like that, and I will one day sit down and watch one of his performances just to give him some support. I just haven't had the opportunity to do so when it's been on the telly, but I will do that because he deserves it.
No, he
wonderful
does.
human being.
With three dancers in, always entertainment. He's half stripped on air, on live national TV. Again, he's given us entertainment, and then. This week, again, you're seeing improvement. We talked about it. We've seen the improvement from him and all that. And I don't know if you'll watch this one previous, but when they're giving the judges' comments, it goes to Craig, and Craig's just like he says, something about basically along the lines of improvement. It's a one-word response. Someone as a positive one, it was along the lines of improvement. Either way, and Tony Adams he goes off like he scored a goal, like over the place. He completely forgets himself to the point he actually thought that was done. Now off you go up the stairs. He's like, oh, sorry. He's like, no, it's fine. Off you go. And he appreciates the opportunity he's got. But as you say, he's putting himself out there. It's all well and good playing in front of thousands, like 38,000 every week at Highbury, millions on the TV for his country, and a profession that he's moulded himself into over his career. But to do something that is how can I put this? No training behind. He's got no background in terms of dancing. And he's putting himself out there now, week in, week out, live on air in front of millions of the most popular Saturday night TV show in the country.
Exactly. Would you do it with no background in dance whatsoever?
Not enough money in the world.
Exactly.
I'll be honest, not enough money in the world. No,
Exactly.
I
I mean, who? I mean, imagine that. Just put yourself in that position for 1 second. Think, would you do it in a million years? And most of us would say no chance. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even stand up in a pub, a half-empty pub, and do some karaoke or something like that. We wouldn't have the guts to do that, but let alone do what he's doing. So yeah, fair fucks to him, man. He's just doing a wonderful thing, and we all know that the main reason he's doing it as well is to give more coverage to his charity. You know that he's set
and that's
up.
the thing.
Second chance.
Yeah. Sorry. And that's another thing with Tony Adams. I mean, we say about him being through the mill and being in that place and not having what you'd have. If he was going through that now, he'd have the opportunities to the respective charities or whatever.
Sporting chance, not second chance.
Yeah. But the respective rehabs and all that to set up now mainly because of him. Because he was going through that. Wenger reached out and basically helped him and got him back on the right path again and got his head in the right frame of mind and off the pitch when he's near the end of when he started getting himself sorted and all that. He said, as you say, he's set up this charity that's been going for over 25 years now. So even like Paul Mercer, Paul Mercer's been gone now when he's had his problems as well over the years, even playing and since retiring and things like that. And not just in terms of, again, this rehab charity that he has isn't just set up for addictions of any sort. It's for mental health. It's a broad spectrum of things. It's helping out modern day footballers now. And as I say, him doing what he's doing, put a more of a bigger light on that now.
Yeah, definitely. More people are coming out and talking about the problems.
No,
as a result.
No, exactly. And fair play to him for doing what he'd done. And that it makes me even more proud that he was part of my club that I support.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. More needs to be more people like him out there.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, good luck to him. And hopefully, as I say, the Arsenal fans get behind him and get him that trophy. How funny would that be if he actually went on to win it because the Arsenal fans just got behind him and voted him created different accounts as this, that, and the other.
That's why they've done it the way they have.
Boom.
That's why they've done it so that it can't just be down to the fans, I'm sure, because they don't want it to be rigged in that way by certain sections of the public.
They haven't met Arsenal fans yet, have they? we win votes.
Yeah, exactly.
No personal Arsenal fans that are watching this, by the way, but we win votes. So he's an Arsenal man. You help him out. You get him that trophy. That'd be brilliant. No, he would have retired 2002. He retired, so he retired in 2002 from football completely. 2022 now, 20 years later, comes not out of retirement, but comes back into a competition and wins it. And Tottenham's saying one fucker.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Oh dear. Colonel's in the chat. It says my dad's done karaoke in the pub, and you get a few pints in him first, though.
Yeah, snap, Colonel. I've done. I'm the same. Once I got on it, I couldn't get off. It was a nightmare. Basically hammered. But yeah, and you think you sound like, prime, I don't know, you name a singer, Prime Prince or someone like that.
George Michael, Prince.
Yeah, George
Michael Jackson, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. You think you sound the bollocks when you actually had a few when you're on there.
No worries, Colin. I might make you mod on here in a bit. Bear with me a sec. But in terms of wrapping things up, obviously, I was on here. I literally because I watched the Liverpool Man City game, and as it's finished, I've had to come up and get ready for the women's game. And obviously, so I've come in, sent it all up, and my brother's popped into the chat and he's saying, "This is what Gary Neville's saying. This is what Mick Richards is saying." Mick Richards, again, we've praised him. We praise him again now because Gary Neville, yet again, we're 10 games in, 9 wins, 1 defeat in the league, top of the league, 4 points clear, and he's still convinced we're going to fall apart and we're going to finish where Newcastle are, and they're sick at the moment.
Yeah.
So he's banking. He's that depressed about his own club. He's banking and begging the footballing gods, basically, that Arsenal can have a complete meltdown from here on in.
Yeah, he don't want us to win the league before Man United do.
Well,
I know he's saying we're going to struggle to get in top 4 still. He still thinks it's a struggle for us to get in top 4. Now, basically, can I just say, it's our best start since 1904. Do you know how long ago that is?
A league
118
start.
years.
Yeah.
118 years. It's our best league start for that long. And he still thinks we're going to struggle to get top 4, mate. Now, the last 4 teams, I'm not going to get too carried away myself, right? But this is a stat. It's not like just plucking it out of the air. The last 4 teams that have won that have won 9 of their first 10 games have won the league. The last 4 teams that have done that. So let him still think we're going to be struggling to get top 4. Let's just let him think that, because when it gets to the end of the season, I'm not saying we're going to win it, but when we do a lot better than he thinks, he's just going to look an even bigger mug than he already does. So let's just let him do that.
But I just find it pathetic. It's got to a point. It's just like, really, come on, are you that bitter? I know he's ex-Man United and he loves his club and he doesn't hide it either. This is the thing. You wouldn't expect him because obviously he's tied to United, but he is that bitter about Arsenal, what we did to him in his playing career in terms of the double winning season and the 2 double winning seasons, and the invincible season as well. He's that bitter over them moments and that rivalry that he has to dig us out basically and wish the worst in us basically. We, as you say, this is our best league start in over 100 odd years, period. No, and it's been our best Premier League, best Premier League start as well ever. And he's that butthurt because he's Man United side are nowhere near where we are. I said this last night. Where Ten Hag has come in, it's very similar to what Arteta had to do when he came in. A lot of bad eggs, too many clicks, got to get all this out, get his own team together. And now he knows that, but he's seen Arteta now come on the right side after what happened at the start of last season. We're now seeing the opposite, and we're seeing the consistently positive results week in, week out, not just in the league now, but in all competitions as it stands, touch wood. And in October, for crying out loud, we're top. We are top of the league by 4 clear points. It's not much, but it's 4 clear points to a Man City side that have hardened in their team.
Exactly. You say it's not much, but against this Man City team, it's massive. Because we can afford to lose next weekend and we'll still be top, whatever happens. It's unbelievable, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, let's just really enjoy it as each week goes past and just see where it takes us. I used to be on the Cannon Fodder channel, Colin, quite often back in the day. It hasn't happened for quite a while, but give my regards to Alex. He bought me, his good wife went to Colombia, where she's from, and got me a Columbia top once, which I still got upstairs, still wear it every now and then, which is very, very kind of him. So yeah, just to give my regards to Alex. It's a good channel.
Yeah, and again, when I actually used to be on Alex's channel a few times. It's been a while, and vice versa. He used to come on here as well when he could.
Yeah, same. He used to be on my channel as well.
He never sung a Barry White song. As far as I can remember, he never sang a Barry White.
No, I never heard him do that.
But when I go to, as I say, we're talking about going level. But whereas again, as I talked, my brother was putting in the chat yesterday, with Mickey Richards saying, "Hang on, when do we give Arsenal the credit they deserve?" He says, "We've been saying 10 games in, 4 points clear of City. We're in October. When do you give them a break and actually praise them for what they're doing here?" And again, Arsenal fans, we're all Arsenal fans here. Most of us in the chat, and most of them in the chat as well, apart from Stefan. But even he'll be honest as well, as a neutral. Start of the season, none of us would have thought we'd be in this position in terms of top of the league, let alone 4 points clear or anything clear. That our thing was just to get back get in that top 4. We thought it'd be a fight for top 4, but we're 27 points out of 30.
It's mad, I know.
I know.
And what do people mostly say? Quite often you hear the phrase, well, you don't look at the Premier League table until 10 games have gone, 10 games in.
Yeah.
We're 10 games in now. So look at the table, Gary Neville.
Yeah, please.
We're 4 points clear unless you haven't noticed, mate.
No, it's it's bitterness. I know it's bitterness, but it's just annoying. And it's like Jamie Howard's note that all these ex-players that play for either United or Tottenham, they're so bitter and twisted, and it's just like, if you're not going to be unbiased and actually give a proper, honest opinion on the situation without being biased, don't bother. Because it's like, in one sense, it's like, okay, you do what you want to do. In one sense, we go under the radar. But in another sense, as an Arsenal fan, I want to see us get some fucking praise. We've been through the mill. As fans, we have been put through the mill in terms of performances and league finishes and things like that for the last decade plus. We have finally started the season the way we have. I'm not saying we're going to, again, we're not saying we are winning the league, but why can't we? At this moment in time, why can't we? Exactly. We are the form team in the league.
Absolutely. No, I mean, the football that we're playing is completely repeatable week on week. You know, when you win 9 games out of the first 10, that is not by luck. You know, you can't do that by luck. You know, there's something that's working and going well. And even Wenger at his peak didn't have a start like this.
No.
You know, so, you know, I've said this before, so I keep repeating myself. It's really relevant. Sorry, but you know, when Leicester won the league, every week as each week went past and it was coming up to Christmas, we all thought it's going to come to an end soon. They're going to be one of these teams that had a great first half of the season, then go off a cliff. They're going to start losing games. It didn't happen week after week after week. They just kept winning because everything was just gelling. Everything was perfect. They were lucky with injuries. People's foot, they were hitting form all at the right time. Everything was just like a perfect season for them. There was just no major problems throughout that season. It just kept going and going and going. And why can't that happen to us? You know, it's. I mean, even if we don't quite win it, at least we can give it our bloody best shot. And you know, what's the saying? Is if you reach for the stars, you might hit the moon or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
you know, we might finish second, or even worst comes to worst, might finish third or something like that. But I mean, that's still a fantastic season compared to what we wanted before the first ball was kicked. So, yeah, I don't see why it can't just carry on. I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to give in to that feeling just yet. But I said quite early on, you know, even jokingly said we're going to win every game. Did I at the beginning of the season? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I'm far off, mate. I wasn't expecting this.
Mate, imagine if we beat United now. We'll be 10 games in, 10 wins. Mate,
I know.
The whole
my pre-season
the league will be shitting themselves.
I'll be clipping up my show that I did before the season started, and I'm putting it everywhere, thinking I'm some kind of oracle. Yeah, but
no, literally.
But no, I mean, I don't see why we're not going to be competitive right the way through the season, because you know what I mean. The only thing that's going to hit us really hard is if we really get hit by injuries to key players. But the same goes for every season, every team. And I've said this before. We've got Haaland. What if Haaland goes
He's
down?
notorious for it. He's notorious for getting an injury. It takes him about 2 to 3 months.
I know. And like I said, they sold Raheem Sterling and they've sold Jesus to us. So it's 3 strikers down. You know, they sold 2 and they bought 1. Okay, he's an amazing cyborg. But if he goes missing, like because of injury, then they're going to be 3 strikers down from last season if that happened. If you get my drift. I mean, I know they brought in Alvarez, is it? But he's a really raw young player who's only just come into the league, so they'll be relying on him to score all their goals all of a sudden. Him and they've got some good wide players, but they don't score
They're
huge
not out and
amount.
out. They're
Not
false
out and
nine.
out
They're not
strikers.
proper strikers. No.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll be struggling. Any team would struggle if they lose their key players, but that's our biggest worry. So that's why, going back to what we said earlier in this show, why we really have to go really big in January and see if we can get our targets in early. And I said, if we're going to earmark someone for next summer, for example, bring it forward. I mean, we've got to really speculate to accumulate this January because it's all there for us if we do. And we made a terrible mistake last January. Let's not do it again.
No, exactly. And again, I hope the club would have learnt from that mistake in last season. But we obviously will see. I think a lot of people, Stephen saying in the chat, see where we are in December. Look, we've got between now and December. We've got 4 more league games. Southampton on Sunday, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Wolves. If we get 12, I'm not saying we are going to get, but if we do get 12 points or 10 points out of 12 in the next 4 games going into that World Cup, we're first, and by that standard, then we are in a title race. Then the next game's on Boxing Day.
Have we got? Sorry if you just said it. Have we got 4 league games left until the
4
World
league
Cup?
games, yeah. Got Southampton away. Yeah, Southampton away.
So if we lose 3, if we win 3 and draw and lose 1,
we're still top by a point.
We're still top. That's what more can you ask for? I mean, we really should do that. We really should win 3 of the 4 games.
And if at the end of the one game we're saying it's a possibility, maybe not, it's Chelsea. But if we do beat Chelsea, that's 12 points. Again, that's literally almost maximum points this season going into basically the break period. And then you've got Boxing Day, West Ham at home after the World Cup. And then I got who is it afterwards? But I can't remember who it was. Who we got after West Ham. But then you got the January window. So
we've got Chelsea's number the last few seasons as well.
Yeah, especially at the Bridge as well. I think we're away as well. And by then, maybe, you never know, the new manager bounce that they're having could wear off by then as well. We've had their number for the last 2 years in the league side of things, beating 1-0 the year before, 4-2. Is it 1? Yeah, 1-0 the year before and 4-2 last season, as we know, Eddie and Nketiah and all that. And our squad's improved since then. If we do go down, if we can get 10 to 12 points, going into that break, we as far as I'm concerned, in that case, then we are in, no doubt, a title charge, a title race, title charge, whatever you want to call it. We are in it.
I know, and like Russ said, that postponed Man City game might just have been the bit of luck we needed. You never know, Russ. They might go one further because by the time we get to play them, because we're going to have to play them twice, obviously, after Christmas. But when they come around, you never know. Haaland might be injured at that point. And we could have been playing them. We could have been playing them this coming
on the back
Wednesday
of
or Thursday, whatever it was.
It would have been Wednesday. It would have been a Wednesday game.
Yeah, so it might be the case that when that comes around, they're suffering with injuries. I mean, we might be suffering with injuries as well, but
you never know.
But you never know. It could be we could have even more luck by the fact that when they come around, he could be out of the squad, out of the team. It could be one of these things where everything just seems to fall in place for us this season.
All the luck sort of comes our way, sort of thing. Yeah,
touching wood as we say that, but you never know. It could happen.
Yeah, and the comment's been up here for a while, but the guy says in the chat that's why I'm okay to look at Arsenal season 1 match at a time. 38 tests. Try to patch each of them. Can't win all in one go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Again, but I'm happy with my team going Arsenal going under the radar. With all due respect, but at the same time, I'd like to get some recognition for Arteta because everything he's been through, especially back at the start of last season, and then the back end of last season as well from the punditry side of things. just give him some recognition and say, look, he's doing a good job in the circumstances. You're going up against a country-run club, for crying out loud, as it stands. Give him that recognition, for crying out loud.
The student is beating the teacher currently, and
currently.
It'd be amazing if he continues to do so. But it's like Stefan said, I can't see Haaland getting injured, to be honest. But the last 2 seasons, Stefan,
that's what he's done.
He missed a long period in both of the last 2 seasons with Dortmund. So he is fairly injury prone if you look back at his history
as well. It's always the same. It's always the same injury, sorry.
And it's not just like a couple of weeks he's been out either. It's been several months he's been out in total. So we can all hope.
Yeah. Colleen's also saying, I believe we as fans have to keep the pressure on during the good and bad times alike. Cruel game must constantly progress. Yeah, and we've seen it with Liverpool this season. They went through the good times, and the fans took the foot of the gas in terms of putting their pressure on the owners and all that. And the owners took their foot off the gas and went, okay, fans are happy. We've got a squad that can compete. We're happy now. We're not going to rebuild again. And now they're up till yesterday, they've been struggling this season.
Yeah.
So, and again, that might be a one-off because of the circumstances, the history as well with Anfield and Man City. That could have played a part as well. But it is what it is, and we'll see what happens there. But as Paul Mercer said last week on Sky, when John Barnes was giving it big eye, still trying to get the big eye in about Liverpool and all that, Arsenal, and he said it on this Saturday as well. Arsenal now have to lose 6 games on the trot, basically, and in that time frame, Liverpool have to win 6 games on the trot to catch us. And he can't see it. And he's saying, I can't see it happening because how Arsenal are getting the results. And that was before Sunday.
It's not really true, though, is it? We're 14 points ahead of them, so it's 5 games.
But it was, yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's still 5 games. We have to lose 5 games, have to win 5 games at the same time. And I just can't see that happening this season. No. I really can't.
I mean, again, you say about historically about the teams that win the amount of games we've won, going to win the title. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned was it not last week, the week before, after the Tottenham game? What was it? The stat that basically got to any team that gets the amount of points that we had achieved at that point always finishes in the top 4.
Yeah, but you know what the other funny thing?
They're there. They improve again. We mentioned this. Was it not? Yeah, last season we mentioned it in the podcast going into last season that after X amount of games we need to be on the 20 on the 20-point mark after around 10 games.
Well, do you remember the last season? The topic was 21.
Yeah, that was
it. 10 games. We did a whole show on it.
Yeah,
and look where we are. After 10 games this season,
27 points out of 30.
It's mad. We were really desperately wanting 21 games after 21 points after 10 games.
21 games and being top still.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, right? How many people were saying, before the Tottenham and Liverpool games, but haven't played anyone big.
Yeah.
They've got 2 big games coming up. Let's see how they do after those. Win the Tottenham game. Oh, yeah, well, let's see. We beat Liverpool. So, they're beating Liverpool. Oh, yeah, but the real test is they're going to have to go and beat Man City away. That's what they have to do. Like, they're completely writing off what we've done over the last few weeks and say, oh, yeah, we passed that Tottenham test. We passed the Liverpool test. Oh yeah, but they're not really the big tests. It's got to be, you've got to go and beat Man City away now.
Yeah,
it's just like one thing after another. Just like we just keep batting them out of the park. Yeah, but you've got to do this, you've got to do that now. It's just one thing at a time, but it just makes you laugh, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, and I remember saying, I think it was on this channel or your channel, weeks ago now, obviously. But I earmarked in terms of this side of the season, this half of the season. I said October's our key month. This was before the Man City game was moved because of the PSV situation and all that. This is going to be a huge month for us because our first 2 games of the month at home, but it's Tottenham and Liverpool. Northern Derby, former Gladstone window, is Tottenham and Liverpool, who have had our number for the last few years under Klopp, home and away. And obviously, we thought City as well, but that's obviously been moved. And I still, even when City was moved, I still stood by that this was our key. This was the month that, especially the start of it, was going to tell not just us as fans, Arsenal fans, but the entire Premier League and football community where Arsenal are at this moment in time. And the facts don't lie. The league table doesn't lie after 10 games. The fact, the amount of wins we've got,
exactly, yeah, and
the football we're playing.
It's annoying the Spurs fans as well because they're having their best start in God knows how long until we beat them. Exactly, and they keep trying to keep up with us, keep winning and winning. But I was watching the results coming, watching how it was going with like the Man City and Liverpool game yesterday, and I was texting my sons and I said, look, when Man City were really up against it and desperately nothing was coming off for them, and I said, our win earlier on in the day, it started to get to them. I firmly believe that. Because we won earlier on before them.
And we went
4 points clear of them. I think it's starting to maybe mentally. I mean, I know they've got so much more experience than us, but we're the young upstarts. Arteta was his apprentice. We're the young upstarts, and we are putting relentless pressure on them by continuing to win week after week after week. And I know the Spurs fans are commenting on this as well, saying, I can't believe they just keep winning. Why do they have to keep winning? Because they're supposedly doing really well. But I think it's starting to get a little bit of pressure on Man City. I'm not saying they're cracking or anything like that, but I think it's started to feel the pressure a little bit with our continuously incessant winning. They think they should be up there by right because
of the money they've spent,
money they've got, and manager they've got, and we shouldn't be doing this. But winning earlier on in the day and putting that pressure on them, I think it starts to tell a little bit. We'll have to see how it goes because it's quite funny to watch, really. Like I said, the master trailing the apprentice. He's not going to be enjoying it.
No, of course not. Imagine. Oh no, it would be a mad thing to do for him to do it. But if he does it, if Arteta does pull this off, and we do obviously go on come May lifting that trophy, and I think obviously it's too early to say if we will or not. But if we are going to be unbearable, guys.
The funny thing is, the longest we've gone between winning the leagues is 18 years.
Yeah.
And it's 18 years at the moment since we last won the league.
No pressure, Arsenal. No pressure.
Honestly, I've been saying this for the 2 or 3 years. I've been saying it's 18 years. It's the longest gap we've ever had, and it's happened twice. It's happened twice. We've gone 18 years between winning the league, and currently, it's 18 years. Now, technically, it'll be 19 years if we win it at the end of this year. But when the season started, it's still 18. So it's a bit weird how it's working out. But early days.
No pressure on Arsenal.
It's just like it's just a weird omen.
That would be.
It's very weird omen.
Scary. I won't complain, but it was scary.
When you look at it in the record books, your eye will be drawn to 2022, and then the 23s afterwards. So when you look at it, it will look like 18 years, which is the same. So it's a bit weird.
Well, especially with next season's the 20th anniversary as well of the Invincible season. Oh, okay. This is getting weird. This is getting that would be. Jeez,
so next year is the Invincible year again.
Yeah, let's do it. Unbeaten, 100%. Let's not just go unbeaten though. Let's win every game, piss everyone off. Then let's see them complain about the Invincible season. Let's see him complain about that then.
Oh yeah, it's just luck. It's just luck. Everyone else is in a bit of a bad moment. So that's the only reason they're doing
it. City just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Pep. Honestly, if Pep loses the league to Arteta this season, would you put it past him walking out in the summer?
Well, no, I was about to say they mentioned it yesterday. He's in the last year of his contract. They're in apparently negotiations, but he's currently in the last year of his contract. So imagine if he doesn't sign a new contract. And then City lose the title to Arsenal. He's apprentice.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to stay to win it back, but I can't because they don't want me now.
They want Arteta. They want Arteta.
I can piss off. Before you wrap things up, Colin says, if we challenge for the league come season's end, I will put my hand up and say I was wrong about Arteta. Until then, I'm apprehensive. And
well, not winning, being top of the league by 4 points and winning 9 out of the first 10. You're still on the fence.
at least he's being
honest. You entitled to it, but I'm just joking, mate. I'm just joking.
No, at least he's been honest and saying, look, I don't want to get carried away.
I'm not having a go at you, mate. Just pulling your leg.
Stefan saying invincible seasons are for everyone. England, only Arsenal, the red and white of Arsenal. I know Celtic did it recently. It's SPL, but it's SPL for crying out loud.
Well, beating Liverpool ain't for everyone, obviously, after yesterday.
But I said it last night in terms of the women's stream I did at the start of it. I was saying, look, the longer this goes on, this obviously no one else getting near an invincible season or actually doing an invincible season, just winning the league in a normal circumstances, whatever. People need to put respect on what was done 19 years ago. They need to start doing it because we don't get them. Yes, it was 12 draws and all that, but we grounded it. Some of them were unlucky not to win in terms of them draws.
Yeah, but also the draws. We could have lost those games and we came back to not lose them, which is
exactly.
Talk about mentality monsters. That nowadays everyone's going on about Liverpool and everyone being mentality monsters. And I ain't arguing with them because they've been amazing, but that we were back then as well, not to lose those games.
No, yeah, exactly. And when you think that when we assembled that squad, the money it was spent compared to what you've seen since then in terms of Chelsea, Roman Abramovich under that era, the amount of money he spent in the first few years, and then they couldn't get near. They couldn't do it. Liverpool came closest, in my opinion, but they found it hard. The mentality monsters under Klopp, they couldn't do it. They've mentally done them. The amount of billions Man City have spent just under Pep Guardiola, not including all the other managers under this ownership, and they've not done it. No. Yet they've got the Centurions and all that, but they've never got an undefeated season.
No.
It shows how hard it is. It is hard. I've seen a few of the comments. Colonel saying, how many titles would Arsenal have? Would Arsenal? Oh, what's it? Titles would Arsenal
I literally thought that said titties then.
I was just making sure. He put an extra T in there, but for the audio, he did put titles, but he put an extra T in the titles.
I've said that, Colonel, before.
The stadium.
I genuinely think we would have had more titles if we hadn't bought the stadium. We wouldn't have never had that debt. We would have never had that debt to pay back. We wouldn't have had to be selling our best players summer after summer after summer. We'd have still been in that beautiful stadium, but I know. We needed the Emirates. People keep telling me we needed the Emirates. We needed the more income, blah blah blah, but to keep up, and maybe we did. Obviously, we had to move. It was still heart wrenching, but we're starting to build our own history in the Emirates now. It's starting to feel more like our home, and if we can do something really special this season, especially, it would really start creating its own its own history. This new stadium that we've got, and everyone's heard all the comments about how incredible the atmosphere is at the Emirates now, and it's never been like this before in all the time I've been at the Emirates, apart from one-off games here and there scattered around, like the Barcelona game, a few of the North London derbies here and there, but it's consistently like it week in, week out now, no matter who our opposition is.
Yeah.
We're lifting the roof off the stadium, and it's finally starting to feel like a real fortress once again, isn't it? Like the Emirates used to be in years gone by.
Yeah.
We've never had this feeling at the Emirates before. We've never had this fortress like atmosphere there, and it started. Yeah, even if it doesn't matter who we're playing, we could be playing Barcelona, or we could be playing Southampton. It doesn't matter. It's the same every week now, and that's what it's always needed to be like. And we're finally there, and that's why I just hope to God it can continue on and on and on, well past this season. Into the future, because we're starting rewriting history again.
Yeah, definitely. And they've been called Dirty Andrew in the chat. Connie says up the Arsenal as well, and I think with that we're going to wrap things up, guys. Before we go, actually, Thursday we've got two games actually. The women's game on Wednesday as well. What are your score predictions for Wednesday and Thursday with the women?
Oh yeah, and I predicted Liverpool were going to beat Man City as well, didn't I, last week?
You did actually, yeah.
Knew it. It's really interesting. Is any more news lately on Zinchenko, whether he's going to be back next weekend? I mean, it's gone very quiet around him, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's not. It seems to be going at the games and all and travelling. So, in terms of being,
he's not been on the bench yet, though, has he, or anything? But I really hope he's back next week.
I'd like to think so. We've heard nothing different since.
I think being back at the Emirates on Thursday is going to be so much more of a good game for us as a team, and we're finally getting a bit more consistency in having two separate teams playing, one at the weekend, one on the Thursday. It's getting more consistent now. They're getting more used to playing together as each week progresses. And being back on the carpet on Thursday, I'm really confident we're going to have another good performance, much better than last Thursday. Bit more back to being, more like us, like earlier in the season. I think I'll go for like a 2-0 win on Thursday with our regular Europa League lineup. And Southampton's away, isn't it?
Southampton's away on Sunday, 2:00 kickoff.
Yeah,
let's go.
It's going to be a tough game again. I know we keep saying this every week, but they're starting to find a bit of form and fighting for their manager now. They had a good result at the weekend, didn't they?
They've got a big game on Wednesday as well against Bournemouth away. That could be interesting.
Yeah, so it's fairly local derby, isn't it, for them down there on the south coast? But they, when they want to play, they can really turn on the good performance. When at their best, they're like Bielsa's Leeds with the way they press and play. I saw some really good matches that they played like that. If they can continue playing like that, they'll be all right. But it's a real Jekyll and Hyde team, Southampton.
Yeah.
But I still fancy us to win. But it's never been an easy place for us to go, is it? We always seem to falter there. Going back the last few years, I would say we'll sneak it 2-1. I don't think it'll be a lot harder than people think. And I'll go for 2-0 on Thursday and 2-1 on Sunday.
And what about the women's team on Wednesday against Lyon, the defending champions, Daniel van der Donk, and all that? Beth Mead against her ex.
I think it's going to find it really hard.
Away from home as well, by the way. We are away from home.
I don't think we played brilliantly yesterday, did we? 1-0 win.
We just weren't clinical enough. We created chances, just weren't clinical.
I know. I know she scored. I still got my doubts about.
I said this last night. I lost my mind. I literally lost my mind.
I've been saying it since she started.
30 seconds in last night. We had that opportunity. Literally,
I haven't seen the game, so.
Oh, when you see the highlights, basically the first opportunity we have is 30 seconds into the game. So he's one-on-one. She's one-on-one. No defender around with the goalkeeper, basically. Opens up the body, but then literally the shot is basically at the goalkeeper. And I was just like, Arthur. And the goal she scores was a harder chance than the chance he missed. I'm like,
I know. I've said from the start, haven't I? I don't think she's a natural goal scorer. She's got a lot of pace and good power. But I don't think she's a finisher.
No. And what's frustrating me even more, it seems that Iwabuchi's been sort of phased out. Like she started last season, she was playing, scoring goals, one of our best players. She had a little injury, and then she went up to play for a country in the Women's Asia Cup back in January. And ever since then, I can't remember since she's come.
I don't think she's played.
But she's on the bench all the time.
Well, you know why? Because of Blackstenius. Because of her, Miedemar is playing as a number 10 instead of a striker, which I think she does really well as a number 10. But we're missing all of Miedemar's goals because he wants Blackstenius up front. So he's pushed Miedemar back into the midfield, and now there's no place for Iwabuchi anymore. So get rid of Blackstenius onto the bench, put Miedemar back as a number 9, and have Iwabuchi behind her. But he won't do that, and that's why I've still got my doubts about him as well. I really like him, but I've never, like Colin, like in the chat, has been saying he's very much on the fence about Arteta. I'm exactly the same with him.
Yeah,
Jonas Eideveld, I like him as a guy. He says all the right things, but I don't think he's very tactically astute. I really don't. He struggles against anyone that's half decent as a manager up against him. We beat up as a team all of the lower teams we should beat at Arsenal. But as soon as we come up against someone, Chelsea, we beat them once last season, but when it really mattered in the FA Cup final, they embarrassed us. They generally embarrass us when we play against them.
Up again in the semi-final of last season.
And for this reason, I'm not confident at all against Lyon. I think we could get spanked like we did against Barcelona.
Oh God!
I'm not even. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat us 3 or 4. I'm being completely honest. So I'm not confident at all, mate, to be honest with you, because I just think that we go missing in those big games when it push comes to shove.
We haven't even got our centre backs. We've got our first choice centre backs are both injured. One got in. She got injured before the international break, and then some bright spark, probably for Chelsea, decided to take Leo out in the bloody training for internationals for England. And she apparently, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but she left St. George's on with a boot around her. I don't think she's wearing it now because there's been seen photographed out and about with other Internet England teammates and looking the business, obviously. There's no sign of a boot around her, but it's so annoying. And then
those boots are just literally Velcro things that you put around. It's not. But it doesn't have to be major, but it could be very precautionary. But
we lose both our first choice defenders.
But Raffaelli, at the moment, she's genuinely, I think, one of our very, very best players. Earlier in the season, I can't remember the match in particular. I was watching her, and her movement on the ball. She was the best player on the park in any position. She was causing havoc up front when she was like up there for attacking set pieces, etc. She was bringing the ball into midfield, and her touch and composure and passing were probably the best I've ever seen for an Arsenal player, and that's high praise. Like for any of, it was one of the best performances, and I thought she would not be out of place in any team in the world. I'm telling you now. And then she gets injured, and we missed her last season as well for injury.
It got us the FA Cup,
definitely. Her and Leah are the best centre-back pairing in women's football that I've seen. And that goes for any foreign teams, like Barcelona anyway. I think that they would be able to be the centre-back pairing for any team in world football. with their composure and their ability on the ball. But missing them, if they're both missing, I know that Raffaelli's going to be missing for a while, but if Leah's missing as well, that makes it even worse, mate. Honestly, it could be even worse than what I predicted.
What was even more concerning yesterday, when obviously we know they're both out, but the centre back pairing was Lottie, which is a natural centre back, so no problem there.
She's out of form.
But he put Steph Catley. He put Steph Catley next to her instead of Jane Beattie, a natural centre back.
Yeah, but thank God. I mean, Jen Beattie's not good enough to play for Arsenal Football Club. I mean, she's a wonderful servant to the club, and they gave her this contract.
Yeah,
because I think she's doing her coaching badges and she wants to stay at the club, which is all I'm all for.
Yeah,
but it can't be that sentimental. If you can't give her another contract, she's just simply.
My thing was
not good enough.
For me, last night was against a team like Reading, we could have tested the waters there, and then messed about on Wednesday in terms of Lottie alongside someone else, but just to settle the nerves, because obviously that's nerve-wracking for Lottie. Like you say, she's not in form. She hasn't played much as well. Just to settle the nerves, have someone alongside her that is a natural centre back. But it is what it is. We got out there by the skin of our teeth in the end, but hey.
Absolutely, but yeah, I've got no hope for the game against Leon, unfortunately.
I guess that's not.
I hope to be proven wrong, obviously.
Part of the group, though. Joe's coming back. Imagine Joe comes back to Juventus.
Yeah.
And puts Jonas in an absolute masterclass of how to actually coach a team with decent players.
I know. But he was a guy again. I don't think he was quite up to scratch either.
He had his moments, but yeah.
Yeah, he had his moments, but I don't think he's like a world-class manager either. Anyway, for another day now, so I'm going to have to shoot now, mate. So we'll discuss it another time.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, thanks, obviously, Andrew, for coming along and taking part in the podcast tonight. You've got your podcast tomorrow night, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. So please come along, everyone, to From Dial Square to Where tomorrow at 7:30. That'd be lovely. See some of you in the chat. Come along and support the channel, and hopefully you'll be there, Ryan, and some other yet to be announced guests will be on. Hopefully Kunjan and some more. So please come along for some more chat tomorrow night.
Yeah, definitely. And I think now, yes, I should be available for tomorrow. I'll confirm that in the morning, early afternoon with you, definitely. I think now. In terms of this channel, I need to sort out James as well. I need to talk to James as well because he wants to do a preview of us before the PSV game. So you get that in somewhere and get that sorted between now and Thursday. Definitely doing the watch along on Wednesday. Put myself through that hell. That's going to be interesting. So tune in for that. That could be very interesting. If you're on that at the helm. And then obviously Thursday itself, main event, Europa League, our technically fourth game to catch us up with everyone else in the group. At home to PSV, the Van Nistelrooy factor and all that jazz. We're going to go through that, me and the guys. And then, what's that, Thursday to Friday, we'll be another podcast previewing the upcoming game against Southampton over the weekend and all that jazz that we always do. And then Saturday, match of the day stream, even though Arsenal aren't playing, just keep an eye on the rivals and around us and all that jazz and the lesser teams and what's going on there. And then Sunday's going to be interesting because I've got to do either one back-to-back stream in terms of Liverpool women versus Arsenal will be at 12 o'clock. Then straight away just continue on, bring the guys in for the men's game as well. Or just do separate streams back to back, basically. But I've got to decide that very, very soon because it's literally like 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock kickoffs.
Yeah, I'm probably going to miss both of them with my son's football. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, one might not be so bad in terms of missing because it's Jonas at the helm. So,
well, if we should beat this Liverpool team. Well, I think that they're not much.
We should, but come on.
Pardon the pun, but they're not much cop, are they?
Literally. They don't even play at Anfield either most of the time anyway. They play at fucking Tranmere Rovers, are crying out loud. But we should win that, but obviously I know it's been that's probably fuck it up somehow. And then obviously the men's going to say do that, and then either this Sunday or the following time, me and Andrew got to talk offline about this actually. We'll keep you updated over the week, obviously, or a couple of weeks ahead. But we will be bringing back our weekly show, basically, a weekly show that we were doing before. It took a little hiatus for personal reasons, but we're now back to both podcasting, obviously, and we will bring that back either this Sunday or the following Sunday. But obviously, we'll let you know definitely near the time, so keep an eye out for that. And then back again on Monday for the reaction of Southampton's game. So busy week. Oh, I'm gonna die. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the other side. The audio for this will be out in the next 30 to 40 minutes, guys. So if you are listening to this over on Spotify or any of the audio podcasting platforms, do share it about. That massively helps. And if you're listening on Spotify or Google or Apple, give us a 5-star rate or rate us out of 5 stars. It massively helps us grow the audio side of the platform as well, and do share it about. It's massively appreciated if you do that. And if you're in terms of the channel, do smash that like button, do share, and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to become a member, all the details at the bottom here across the screen. There's 2 levels, 99p or £2.99. Just go to click join channel membership. It gives you all the options and what you get, what the benefits are, this, that, and the other, and all fees raised basically go towards the channel improving the quality of what you're getting, guys. So yeah, in terms of that, hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you on the other side. For all you little rival pricks out there going having a little bitch at Arsenal is still top of the league, tough. We're enjoying it. Don't like it. I don't care. Arsenal, I'm not saying we're back because I'm not very fair to them, but we are on the right trajectory going forward. We're going in the right direction. If you don't like it, we ain't got a choice because we ain't going anywhere. Until then, see you later. Up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.
We are top of the league.
We are top of the league. I said we are top of the league.